The stock market has seen its best monthly gain in 45 years during this economic shutdown. Food lines grow worse, Airbnb crash, stimulus checks go missing. That's what we have on tap for this report. Hey everybody, JJ here, Bull Boom, Bear Bust. It is Wednesday, April 29th. I hope everyone is well. And if you're not doing well financially or out of work, maybe you lost your job, I hope you're using this time to improve yourself, learning, educating yourself, reading books, exercising, getting into shape. Getting yourself more physically fit is one of the best things you can do that doesn't cost anything. And no, you don't need to go to a gym to get in shape. There's lots of things you can do. But let's get started in today's news here. Quick shot here of the indexes. Dow Jones over 24,500, 24,600 now. NASDAQ up 3%, S&P up over 2.5%. All of this amidst economy that is basically frozen or dead. It's a dead economy. And if it weren't for the stimulus checks, it would be even worse. But back to the stock market, basically the bottom line is if it can be manipulated, it will, to try to keep this disaster of the economic situation looking even worse. This is the one bright spot that they can point to now. Of course, the leaders are going to come out and point to the stock market recovery since we hit that low in about mid-March. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing march all the way back up to 30,000 before the end of the year, maybe even higher by the time November rolls around. And a lot of the headlines today are pointing to the reason that stocks are higher, instead of just saying they're manipulated, is that there's hope for progress in fighting the virus. So it's hope and change 2.0 here today. And if it's not just the Fed buying these stocks either directly or indirectly through their primary dealers, then I'm wondering who is buying these stocks. Is there somebody, is there an institution out there, are there insiders out there that maybe know about a miracle treatment for the virus? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But it is interesting the level of positivity just based on what is being put as hope. Right? You can hope you're going to win the lottery, but do you want to go out and spend all of your money expecting multi-millions of dollars to come in later? Right? So the hope excuse here for the stock market rise is pretty interesting. Next on tap, food lines are getting worse. Yes, even with the stimulus, there's still a lot of struggling people out there. And yes, a lot of these lines, there's people driving nice cars, I know that. But keep in mind, most people are in some sort of debt, and most people are in car loan. They have car loans, and their cars are not paid off. Right? There's a lot of people that just went out and bought new cars instead of just sticking with a car that was maybe 5 or 6 years old and doing some maintenance on it every now and then. So just the fact that there's newer cars in these food lines doesn't mean that people are not struggling. The fact that people are waiting to wait in line for a bag of food for several hours should tell you that a lot of these people are probably not doing good financially, as it may seem from the outside view. The food lines in the USA are so long, they're even talking about it out of the Daily Mail out of the UK. Headline right here, hundreds of Americans line up for drive-through food bank handouts in Los Angeles, Pennsylvania, as a rise in unemployment leaves Americans struggling to feed their families. In Prospect, Pennsylvania, 1,500 cars were expected to collect boxes of food at Big Butler Fairgrounds. 1,500 cars. Here is a shot here out of LA. And think about all the farmers now that are being forced to cut food. We talked about that a couple episodes ago, being forced to dump food, I should say. Millions of gallons of milk going to waste, millions of chickens being slaughtered because of the supply chain disruptions and the lack of processing, the lack of employees. I even saw a video that someone posted down in comments about a farmer who's he says he's being told that he needs to slaughter just hundreds of beef cattle. So it's pretty sad what's happening. Report here out of Wall Street Journal, food plant workers clash with employers over safety from the virus. Workers fear contracting the virus could spread to family while companies try to maintain vital supply chains. Right, so you have that, a lot of people that are actually scared to go to work and be around other people. There's also some big things happening right now with unemployment. Some of these people that are getting unemployment are making more than they would if they went back to work. So that's another aspect of this entire mess, that it's going to have to be sorted out. You're going to have to figure out who does have jobs to go back to, and those people need to be denied unemployment benefits, right? So you have another level of red tape in this whole fiasco right now with unemployment. All right, so isn't it strange that a nation that just had 26.5 million people file for unemployment just in the past 5 weeks or so, we're having a labor shortage and companies are having a hard time finding people to work. All right, next, let's talk about the Airbnb crash. A lot of people went out and bought property as investments to rent out as Airbnbs on short-term leases. A lot of times these are just weekly rentals and weekend rentals. And you can make a lot more on an Airbnb with these short-term rentals than you could if you rented it out for long-term tenants. And this has come back to bite a lot of people. A lot of these owners were very over leveraged. Again, people went out and bought a lot of properties, in some cases 2, 3, 4, 5 properties to do Airbnb. But now that the music has stopped here for a few weeks, the same thing, we're finding that these over leveraged property owners are crying for help only after a short amount of time. Let's take a look at this article here. Report here out of MSNBC. They're calling it a bargain with the devil. Bill comes due for overextended Airbnb host. And there's an individual highlighted here, a property owner, a 54-year-old information technology contractor, said she lost $10,000 in bookings that basically evaporated overnight. Her monthly expenses is $22,000. So that tells me that she likely has some mortgages that she has to pay. And again, when the times are good, people are making their mortgage payment, right? Their incomes, in this case, were plenty because she had all these different rentals. So while the times were good, she was able to make her monthly payments. She met her monthly mortgage obligations, but only after a few weeks. Here we go again, another example of how being over leveraged and underprepared can really come back to bite anybody that is not planned for this type of shutdown or an unexpected event. And I'll just read an excerpt out of this article. She's part of an upper crust dimension of the gig economy, property owners and speculators who bought or leased real estate in pursuit of Airbnb profits. Airbnb spawned a cottage industry of homeowners running their own property empires, turning the startup into a hoteler without any hotels. Okay, pretty much wherever you look, it seems like it's too much debt, overextended, over leveraged, and the music has stopped and there's not enough chairs for everyone to sit in. And this is going to be another factor in property prices. Imagine a lot of these properties that go on the market, if they're foreclosed, what that's going to do to the supply. And this is just one example. This particular owner owns several properties just by herself. Imagine how many tens of thousands of other people that went out to make money in the Airbnb rental business. All right, let's finish it up with this here today. Stimulus checks go missing. Still today, a lot of people have not received their stimulus checks. A lot of them are scratching their head. They're trying to find who they can call. The people that are calling are waiting on hold or never getting a call back. I saw a few articles about this. The best one here is this Market Watch article. Why haven't I gotten my stimulus check? 6 reasons your payment might not show up. Now, so far there's been over 88 million stimulus checks sent out, totaling over $157 billion. And that's more than half of the $290 billion put aside for direct payments to individuals. And that was a $2.2 trillion part of that CARES Act. All right, the first reason here, the IRS doesn't have your bank account information on file. So if you didn't use direct deposit in your previous tax returns, or if you've changed or closed your checking account that you did use for your previous year's filings, and if you didn't file last year yet, 2019, they go back and look at 2018. If either one of those things have happened, that could be the reason why you haven't gotten your stimulus check. Okay, 2, you make too much money. We talked about this in a previous video. I'll go ahead and link to this article, though, if you want to look at this. It's got all the brackets and tiers of who qualifies and who doesn't. 3, someone else is claiming you as a dependent. That's pretty easy to figure out there. 4, glitches. Glitches never happen, right? I guess I'm going to try to use that excuse next time I go to pay a bill. I'm just going to skip paying it and say, oh, sorry, it was a glitch. I don't have to pay it, right? Next, this is one we've talked about. Debt collectors could be taking your money. If you owe money, There are collection agencies and individuals, companies that are going to be going after that money in some cases. The stimulus money could be gone before you even get it. So this is why it's so important for us as people to be independent, and I mean independent of not relying on handouts. Now, on one hand, you could say, yes, handouts are good because it helps people that need the help. But the reason these people need help a lot of times is because of the cost of living has been jacked up so high because of the financial system, because of the way it's being run and the way it's been run for many, many decades. Right? The financial system, the banking system, the fractional reserve system, the fiat, monopoly money system, it is inflationary. And then when something happens, when a monkey wrench gets thrown into the system, when there's deflation, then the unpreparedness is really revealed. And all the people that are barely scraping by in this system are asking, hey, where is my money? What's going on? It's going to be about all for this report, everybody. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being here. Hope to see you down in the comments. And if you haven't done it already, please check down the comments. There's a lot of people that will tell you what's going on and their opinions and their experiences directly. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Bye for now.